Just preparing live stream.
Do I have enough PSE logos in this shop?
Let's see if we get it. I think we got it. I think we're good. All right. Hello and welcome to the BowHunterPlanet.com podcast. Myself, Dave Thomas, and Tim Mazaran tonight, along with our friends from PSE, Bobby and Dan. How are you guys?
Great. How are you guys doing?
I'm doing all right.
Thank you.
How you guys enjoying your stay at home?
As you can tell, I've turned into a barber since I've stayed at home, so I had to go with the quarantine cut. That was
a fine good barber, I might add.
So guys,
I hope you didn't tip him too much.
No, his clippers actually stopped working halfway through the first strip, so.
I hope you saved the receipt for that haircut.
So what's new at PSE, guys? What have you guys been working on over there besides all this COVID issue?
Holy cow, man! What haven't we been working on? And I was just with Lonnie Workman for a bit today, and we sat down and talked about some names for a new target bow that we're gonna introduce here sometime in the future. Not tomorrow, not next week, but we are always working on something at any given time. So whenever anybody asks me, what's new, what's coming out, we're always working on something. I'm never 100% sure what's going to land on the table. We have a whole bunch of stuff in the works at any given time, but I do know at this point we've got a new target bow that we're working on. The target bows that we have in the line now are phenomenal, and we've got a great team of guys like Dan that have given us some great input on how to make them even better. So luckily we have Dan on our side to give us that kind of input.
Yeah, that's awesome. Have you guys ever stopped to think about, and you guys actually might know this number, and if you don't, it's fine, I get it, but like, have you ever stopped to think about like how many bows have we actually made? Not the full count, but the amount of different models over the years.
Oh man, that question came up not too long ago. This year started my 23rd year with PSE, and each and every year we have 25 to 30 models.
Wow.
A lot of carryover, obviously, but PSE's been around for 50. So
wow.
You have a minute. If you have a minute to do the math, 50 years of 20. I don't think they had that many SKUs back in the first couple of years, but I know for as long as I've been there, it's been 25 to 30, dedicated models every year.
Every year.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep.
So that's incredible. That's what I was just thinking about. I was just thinking, I'm like, man, I wonder how many bows PSE has actually had different models. I mean, going back to the Bow Madness stuff, when I bought my first PSE, and it was a Bow Madness XS, and I got it at Bass Pro Shop. I'll never forget it though, because it was I probably told you guys a story before, but it was kind of a turning point for me in my archery, and this is back in 2009, and I kept missing. I had this other bow, and I just kept missing deer, and it was so frustrating. And finally, I got so mad. I went to the store. I went to that Bass Pro, and I saw it. It was a package deal. And I bought it, and I killed like literally 2-3 deer right away with it. And I was so excited. It just reignited my archery experience, And I'll never forget that. And I'll never forget when I started first working with you guys, because I was so excited because of that moment, like just thinking back of what PSE did for me in my career of hunting. Like it really helped me rejuvenate something. I didn't kill a deer from like 2000 to 2009. That's how bad of a lull I had with the other bows I tried over the years. And I just couldn't, I don't know, man. It was crazy. It was just such a huge difference, And and the funny part to me is if you look at that technology, we go back to that Bow Madness XS 2009, that bow was amazing. And just to think about how far it's come from that point is just incredible. Honestly, just incredible.
Yeah, we've come a long way, and I love to hear stories like that. Being so close to it, we're inside the walls of the building every day, and we're so focused on selling the next bow. We sometimes lose that feeling, and we ship 80,000 bows a year, and 80,000 people a year or more get that feeling. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
We kind of lose that. you know. So, but you know, with me, you know, my first PSE, I was 16 years old. My first job was at a Dairy Queen, and I saved up enough money to, and I even put it on layaway. That's how little money I was making. But
That's a lot of ice cream cones.
it is a lot of ice cream cones. But I put it on layaway, and I bought my first PSE bow, and this was 30 some years ago. I still remember that feeling of getting that first bow, killing the first animal with it, you know. So I love to hear that story, Dave. That means an awful lot. And even guys like Dan, you know, he probably lost count of
hundreds of bows.
but what I was about to say was, you know, he's probably shot hundreds of 300s in his lifetime. And for me to be there with him in Vegas when he shot one, I know it's not his only one, but I got to be there with him. So I know what that feeling is like. Even though he shot a bunch before and he'll shoot a bunch again, I know he remembers that moment when we were together in Vegas and he shot that 300 with his PSE bow. I mean, those moments mean a lot to every one of us.
Yeah,
I mean, that's incredible.
I hear it all the time when I go into shops. Oh, my first bow was a PSE, or I had this PSE back at this time in my life, and I absolutely loved it. So, yeah, I said the amount of people that you interact with on a regular basis that have felt what PSE can do for them, it's kind of astounding.
Yeah. So Dan, give us some highlights as to what keeps drawing you back to PSE year after year. You've had such great success, obviously, and they're definitely doing something right. But give us some color to that.
I mean, one of the great things that I love about PSE is every person in engineering, in marketing, basically anyone in the company shoots or hunts or does something with archery. So it's not just an engineer that looks on a computer and does whatever and makes a bow work. They're out in the field using the product, and they know what they want. They know what's going to make a product better. So whenever they go in and they get on their computer and do their magic, they know what they're looking to do.
That's awesome. And I think we hear that a lot about you guys, is that everybody that I know that loves PSE, that shoots PSE, they say a lot of similar stuff, is that you guys really know what the person on the other side of that bow, that other side of that transaction really wants, because you guys listen to them.
Yeah, I mean, we're out there using the stuff in the field every day. I'm going to tournaments, I hunt. Like I said, engineers, they're all hunters. I've seen some massive stuff that Kevin's killed, doing some deep backcountry hunting with some of our other sales reps, and I say we live, breathe, and love archery.
That's awesome.
So let's so Dan, why don't you guys start taking us a little bit through the models this year? I know we got some of the other guys have just tuned in from the show. Kevin's on now. Jamie, I think Brian's been jumping back and forth. But why don't you take us real quick through the models that you guys are promoting this year, and maybe we can then people can ask questions online if they have questions on it.
Yeah, absolutely. So in October, when we released the new line, the Evo, with it being our 50th year, we kind of went back to a few names that have been good for us in the past, names that are real recognizable. And for our flagship this year, we came back with the Evo name. So it's Evo NXT. We've got a 31, a 33, and a 35. So there's the 31. They've all got the same basic geometry as far as limb angles, grip angles, and things like that. Just length differences and brace height differences. So depending on what the end consumer needs, if they need something small for a ground blind or need something real maneuverable, they're going to go with something a little bit shorter. If they need something a little bit longer, want to extend their range a little bit more, we've got a 33 and a 35. I think Bobby's got a 35 there.
33.
33.
I do have a 35 as well, but
yep.
This is a 33 is what I have here in my hand right now.
So, and then we took that same kind of limb angle and geometry and kind of took our carbon game to the next level as well. So we brought all the carbon stuff in-house. So we are actually making this complete bow in Tucson now. So we've got the carbon cave where we've got individuals that are actually hand laying all these carbon pieces onto this core to make this riser. So this is 100% made in Tucson now.
Yeah, I don't know if you could see it in the video right there. I'm going to try and see, but trying to figure this out. But anyway, made 100% right here in the USA, in Tucson, Arizona. Yeah, you can't see that very well, but
Nice.
made in the USA, right in our plant here in Tucson.
So, and to me, this bow was the biggest holy cow moment when we went to the sales meeting and shot it. The old carbons were great. I loved them. I shot quite a number of deer with them. I shot one of my biggest deer ever with a carbon bow that we made. But just the feeling of this bow and how it shoots and how dead it is in your hand for a bow that weighs 3.5 pounds was just like, holy cow. The being able to have all the manufacturing done in-house and having our engineers hands on it every day, they did an absolute number on this thing and made it unreal. And I think the numbers have spoken with how many we have on back order and how many people are still waiting for these things. I mean, this bow right here is amazing.
Yeah, Dan touched on it
cool.
earlier with the new limb angle. We started off with a slightly harder angle at the pocket, so that lays back the limb some more. It did increase the brace height by just a hair, but what you gain with how good that bow feels and aims and points is incredible. And then kind of touching again on what Dan said about having our own engineers touching it and doing it in-house, we learned so much about the carbon process over the last year that we were able to go back to the smaller grip profile, like we did with our 2016 carbon, without having that bridged handle design that we had on the original. But we learned so much about it that we're able to make this current handle in an 80-pound configuration too. So to get a bow that's 3.3 pounds?
Yeah, I think it's listed at 3.5, but the one I've got here is 3.3. So I mean, it's between 3.3 and 3.5.
And to get that smaller grip profile, at 80 pounds, that's unheard of.
Can you guys go through real quick and just tell us about the configuration of the carbon? Because I know that your carbon bows are different than other ones in the market. I know there's a lot more into the riser itself. Can you guys go through that real quick?
So our riser is a single monocoque design. That means it's a one-piece handle. It's not multiple tubes fused together. So those handles are only as good as their fused pieces are. With ours, it's a one-piece monocoque handle. It's a carbon layup design, so it's not multiple tubes. It's multiple sheets of carbon, and there's actually over 180 layers of carbon to make that handle. With like Dan, that profile that Dan is holding up right there, I'll hold mine up too if I'm on the video right now. But now this profile here, there's sheets with this profile, sheets with this profile, sheets at the grip, and also sheets at the bottom part. And we layer. The sheets of carbon actually look like a real heavy duty vinyl decal is kind of what it looks like, but we layer them together. There's a lot of special magic and epoxies and glues and resins that they use to put them together, but they form this shell, and then they put an acoustic core on the inside into the mold, and that acoustic core is what presses the shell into the mold, creating the handle. If that makes any sense. I know it's kind of hard to imagine without actually being there and seeing it, but the point of it is the finished product is a one-piece monocoque shell, no glued pieces together. It's one solid handle. The only thing we glue on it now is the plate that goes on the side for the right there what Dan is showing us. That gives us the emblem and the sight mount holes. And
very cool. Let's talk about MSRP. What's the price of the carbon compared to your better aluminum bows? What's the delta, I guess?
So like a flagship aluminum bows, $10.99, and then looking at this one, you're at $15.99.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I was trying to understand the difference. People always ask that question. They always want to know when it comes to prices, what's the difference?
When we were out at the factory and toured the carbon cave, if you actually saw what goes into making this handle and making this riser and the amount of painstaking time and attention to detail, not
Yes.
just the materials being more expensive, but just the actual amount of hand time on each one of these things it's mind-boggling. I mean, they showed the assembly line of them putting all the pieces on there and the checklists and the double checks and I mean, it's a lot of time to make one of these risers. It's not like you can just throw this on a machine and let it run and do everything. It's hands-on time. Someone's actually taken time to put all these pieces on one by one.
Yeah. I'd also be very clear is that, you know, people, when it comes to prices and stuff, like a bow like that is worth every penny. And I understand people might think, oh, that's way too much money, or because they say this about all carbon bows in the industry. But the problem is, if you want the best, if you want something that's a premier and premium something, you're going to pay for it. It doesn't matter what the sport is. It could be golf. I could buy a golf club that's $1,200 for one, you know, and it's got a special carbon in it. So it doesn't really matter the price. It comes down to you're not making as many. They're going to be expensive because there's more work being done to them. The materials are more expensive. There's a lot more to it. So people who don't understand supply chain might not really get that in the end, but hey, you guys have other bows. You have the options in that whole line of what you offer. So I think it makes complete sense to have one at the highest end.
That's one of the great things I love about working for this company is someone comes in and says they want a bow, and it's basically it's like, all right, what are you going to do with it? What's your price range? And we can show them 3 or 4 bows that'll fit in exactly what they want to do. So anybody, no matter what they want to do, how much they want to spend, can get a PSE and take it home with them.
Yeah, for sure.
So
so one of the questions.
Go ahead, Dave.
Go ahead. Sorry.
No, I was gonna ask because I know you guys got a lot new for 2020. I think you have a new crossbow as well. I'm a crossbow guy, so I always like to talk about that and mention that. But you guys got a new crossbow for 2020, right?
Yeah, we've got a new crossbow. I was hoping to have one here to show, but unfortunately, with all the COVID stuff going on, it's kind of put a hurting on getting those done. So those were supposed to be done by now, but with having government shutting places down, manufacturing, we're just things we can't do. So, but yeah, we've got a new one. I've shot it quite a few times. It's a real narrow design, kind of a bullpup design. So it's real short, front to back and narrow wise. It's 400 feet a second. And the thing that I noticed most about it when I shot it was how good the trigger is. So I know David worked on some stuff with it to get some let off on it. So there's less pressure on the trigger box. So then there's less pressure on the trigger. So you can make a crisper trigger without having to hold all that load at full draw.
Yeah, that's awesome. That is exactly what you kind of look for nowadays. Is it's really those little things like the trigger feel that really separates crossbows out there nowadays. I mean, there's a lot of tech that goes into a lot of different ones. This thing is sick looking. Dave has it up on the screen right now. It is just absolutely sick looking. 400 people.
Yeah, this looks awesome, guys.
You know,
Holy cow.
Something, bro. That thing is. It looks pretty awesome.
Yeah, we're pretty.
I love the name too, Warhammer. It tells you exactly what it's gonna do.
Yeah, the trigger on it was the most impressive thing for me whenever I shot it. You can see the foot stirrup. Instead of having a conventional stirrup where you actually have to put your foot inside a stirrup, it actually sits flat. So when you step on it, you don't have to, like if you got a big rubber boot, you don't have to worry about getting your boot stuck inside of it. You actually step on it. And then up at the top, you can kind of see where the stock is, like a little wing thing by where you put your shoulder. That's actually a leg rest. So whenever you stand on that stirrup, but that part actually leans against your leg and makes it really stable when you're cocking it too.
Awesome. No, I don't think it's in this picture here, but there is a like an automatic cocker for it.
We do have a crank device for it as well. That'll go right in the back.
That is great. You know, one of the questions that came up on the live feed is someone asked, does PSE offer any target bows for $1,000 or less?
Yeah, we've got the Centrix and Centrix SB. Those are $699. So there, the top left, there's a Centrix LD, and in the top right middle is a Centrix SD. Those are $699. You got 33-inch axle, and you've got draw length ranges from 23 to 32 inches.
Perfect. All right. I'm just rolling through some of the questions. If you guys got any more questions on the live feed right now, go ahead and ask them. Also, if any of the guys on the call with us, Kevin or Jamie, Tim, if you guys got anything, go ahead and ask those now as well.
I got a quick question on that crossbow. The way that foot stirrup is, if you're sitting like in a blind or at a table or something like that, can you use it to stabilize it too? It looked like you could use
Oh,
it
yeah.
to.
Yeah,
That looks pretty cool.
Yep, you kind of got a built-in bipod with it as well.
Yeah, that is really. I like that.
So I know one of our pro staffers, Bill Eppert's got one the other day, one of the prototypes, and was out playing with it, and they were shooting a quarter size bullseye at 60 yards with it.
Oh wow, yeah, that's impressive.
So
One of the questions that came up is from Chuck Wolf. It says, how is the new partnership with John Dudley working out so far?
I've actually got one right here. That was going to be the next thing I was going to go to. So, so this is the new NTN. So this is based off of a Evo NXT 33. John's kind of put some of his own touches to it to kind of make it his own version of our Evo NXT 33. So some of the things he's done, you probably can't see it here, but he's done a dual burger buttonhole. So if you're going to put like an AAE Prophecy or an AAE Pro Drop on it, you can use the dual burger buttonholes. I'm sure there's a lot of other rests that will fit in there as well. So you can have a real tight lockdown where the thing, there's no way it can move with two burger buttonholes there. He's actually put a pretty cool stand here that actually screws into the riser. So you can actually use that to let it stand up on its own. So if you're hunting out of a ground blind, you can use that as that, or if you're just shooting on the range and want to just stand it up, you can use that as well. And one of the other cool things with this is these unscrew. And you can take these and screw them together. Put that in your hunting quiver, so then you can always carry your stick with you.
Huh. That's awesome.
Nice.
So yeah, and then obviously John's got a thing with green, so we did an olive green riser for him, and his partnership with Sitka has allowed us to put subalpine limbs on these as well.
Ooh, that's really cool.
I like the color.
Yep, and we're doing a carbon version of this as well. The carbon is the same thing, just with the color differences. There was no changes just because it's so hard to change the carbon. It's not like you can just go in and program a different machine cut on the riser to make something different. The carbon's you're gonna have to completely change the mold. So we are doing a John Dudley version of the carbon with the green and the subalpine limbs as well. And to be honest, the amount of people that I've talked to that have watched John Dudley's videos have really looked to him to help them improve their archery game it's mind-boggling, to be honest with you. I was in a shop the other day, I guess it was 2 or 3 weeks ago. That was probably almost a month ago. But guy came in, was looking at the bows, and he's like, I have John Dudley to thank for keeping me in archery. And I'm like, oh yeah, how's that? So he's like, I missed a deer so bad. He goes, I had target panic. And I just went on YouTube and looked up how to beat target panic, and John Dudley's stuff was the first thing that came up. And I started watching his videos, and he got me back into archery. And he goes, now I'm actually going to tournaments and competing now too. So
it sounds like something Brian and Jamie should start watching.
Yeah, that's for sure.
So I'll go through a couple more comments on YouTube. Yeesh. Some people said, love PSE bows. The last couple of years I shot a 2011 Bowtech Invasion, hadn't found another bow since. However, the Evolve cams made me think twice. And I have to admit, that Evolve cam is unbelievable, guys. Yeah. What's changed with that cam and how beautiful that thing is. So smooth. Another guy says, got the new Evo NTN. Couldn't be more happier. John Dudley hit it on the point. And there was one more question. Says, will they be coming out with the hunting strap on the Evo NTN?
It is actually already machined into the riser. So I don't know if you remember when I came up and we did the evokes and showed you the push button sling. Yeah.
Yes.
It'll actually go right in there. So yes, we do already have a sling for this bow.
Nice.
Cool.
Yep. Already available.
Awesome. So looking forward to kind of 2020 here. I know everybody is talking about what's going on in the world today. Are you guys seeing any like supply chain issues getting everything out to your dealers and all that kind of stuff? Like, are the consumers going to see maybe a little bit of a change in how they're going to need to purchase the bows this year or anything like that?
There's no doubt that we're all going to realize those kind of changes going forward, no matter what it is that you need to buy. But yeah, when all this craziness got started, we had a great shipping month in March. I think some of the dealers, started buying up some stuff, or consumers were buying up some stuff at the time, worried that they weren't going to be able to get it, and then everything pretty much just shut down in April. All of the archery only shops, I know this is the way it is in Arizona, I'm sure it's like this everywhere else, that they're a non-essential. If they're archery only, they're considered non-essential. So a lot of our retailers are just closed right now. So consumers are calling their favorite local dealers and making private appointments where they're not gathering up with bunches of people, and hopefully being careful with distancing when they get there and making their transactions. But yeah, this is definitely going to change the way everybody buys.
Yeah, I have to imagine we're going to see, a shift, a lot more maybe online. But I think I really do think that as these states start to come back online and we start to see shops open up, I think we're going to see a really big increase in the consumer demand, not just because it's pent up, but I think, people are really looking for ways to get outdoors again, and I think in a way that this whole coronavirus has brought, out the point of kind of a little bit of the self-survival type of mentality, which I think we're all hoping is going to spark a little bit of sentiment in the hunting industry, and bring people back into the hunting industry that maybe got out, or bring new people in as well.
Exactly what you were saying. I'm sure you've all have seen all the posts from people at home getting bored out of their minds and running out of things to do because they can't go to the office, they can't go to the store unless they absolutely have to. So they're just trying to find whatever they can to keep themselves busy. Well, we just finished up a 3-week campaign that we hashtagged Archery is Immune, and we had people send in pictures of them shooting their bow. And I think a lot of people that were at home that didn't have a bow to shoot sure as heck wish they did, and hoping that this campaign is going to put that thought into everyone's mind. And hopefully we don't ever get put into this situation again. But if we do, and those folks that didn't have a bow to play with during quarantine will surely have one as soon as this is all over with. Yeah.
I think
a lot of deer better look out this year. People are practicing.
Yeah, you're right about
I think
that.
Hopefully what comes of this is a more progressive push towards archery and learning to hunt, because I feel like with what we're seeing in the news with the shortages of meat and red meat being a shortage issues, people who are hunting have the advantage right now, right? Because we have deer, we have venison in the freezer. So I'm hoping that changes things, right? And maybe makes more people think twice. I know I've, again, personally been asked, we talked about this on some of the other podcasts, but I personally been asked about, how to hunt and things like that now that people are really interested in this thing. Like, hey, if this thing could come back every year, maybe I need to be more prepared and learn to hunt and get some deer, right? And get something in my freezer to protect myself for the future. So hopefully it does an opposite swing for you guys.
Yeah.
I just had some really good spaghetti and venison meatballs.
Yeah. We've had multiple variations. I'm lucky that my wife likes to eat game meat, and she probably would have been forced to eat it if she didn't like it. But over the last couple of weeks, we've had multiple variations of game meat recipes, and she loves it, and I love it when she makes it. So we've been pretty fortunate as far as that goes. We haven't had to run out to the store yet to go buy too much as far as that goes.
We've actually thawing out some deer burger to make burgers for tomorrow night. So
there you go.
Nice.
Yeah.
I just got myself a Blackstone grill, so I've been going nuts trying to cook up all I can now. It's been a lot of fun.
I made some of that access deer, Dave, and it was awesome.
I'm making that tomorrow.
While we're on that topic, I'll throw this out to you real quick. We're gonna one of the next campaigns we're gonna do is have some of our guys, and Dan, we're gonna include you too, and just post up some of their favorite wild game recipes.
Nice, good idea.
Oh, that's good. Yeah.
Yeah, we think that'll be kind of neat, and either show a little video of you making it or some pictures of what you put in it and how you do it. I think that'll be kind of cool. It probably would have seemed a little silly a couple years ago, but
Yeah.
at this time, I bet people are dying to see new ways to cook it up.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, and there's a lot of really simple recipes that taste really good too. So
Yeah, you don't have to go crazy.
Somebody said on the Facebook page, good use for a stimulus check to buy that new PC.
Yeah, there you go.
perfect amount.
Smart. thinking outside the box here. All right, guys, we're gonna wrap it up. But hey, thanks guys from PSE for joining us. Dan and Bobby, it's always good to see you guys and talk a little bit. And we look forward to this year, and hopefully you guys, everything rebounds good and we're back moving and bows are sold and we get rolling. That's the most important part.
Yep.
And definitely looking forward to what you guys decide to do with 2021 coming up. That's gonna be exciting. Anything hidden you guys can show us right now?
I think I got.
Yeah. Both of them are right on top of it.
All right, so
I
check
love
out
it.
PSE online and make sure you guys go to their website, check out their bows. They're awesome bows, and you can see our video we did on YouTube on their bow as well. So thanks, guys. Have a great night. Appreciate it.
Stay safe.
Everybody out,
Thanks, guys. See ya.
thank you.
Good night,
Guys.
guys.
Get your local dealer once it's safe again.
Yeah, get out there and shoot.
Absolutely.
Challenge
Absolutely.
all your listeners that are out there, that when all this stuff's over, go out to your pro shop, and even if it's spending $10 on a pack of knocks, go out and support them, because if they're not around, if something like this happens again,
Yeah.
Yeah.
what are you going to do? So,
Gotta have your
Great
gear
point.
ready.
all your dealers.
Great point.
All right, thanks, guys. Have a good one.
All
Have
right,
a good
guys.
night. Thank you.
Bye.